Good morning. Happy Sunday. We had grooming this week, so Hope wanted to show off her new haircut. Of course, my sidekick is here, and he got a huge haircut too, and he's not feeling very well today. So we say good morning, guys. Um, First of all, I want to take some time to talk to you about last week's episode, which we talked about being completely overwhelmed and went back to talking about the summer of self care and the things that you can do for yourself. And your comments and suggestions were amazing, so I wanted to share some of them. Michelle talked about getting enough water, and I have a whole video on that because that has been a challenge for me, and I have some super easy things that you can do to make sure you get your water. Michelle also said something that I do as well, which I tell you, I ask you not to work over the weekend so that you can have time for yourself and be refreshed and ready to work. But she talked about saving her work emails until the end of the day on Sunday. And I kind of do that. I don't save my work emails, but I sit down and look at my calendar for the week and have my to-do list ready for Monday morning on Sunday night so that I feel ready on Monday morning. And that way you can feel like you're getting something done, feel like you're prepared, but you're not working the whole weekend. David talked about stretching and meditation, which are amazing things to do. Dawn mentioned tapping, which is a form of meditation for people who I think people who don't like the traditional just sitting quietly meditation. It's a guided meditation, and you're doing tapping things with your hands. So thank you for all of those suggestions. It really helps us when you share your comments, when you and share our videos so that we can keep getting the information out to you. So today we're going to get back to our hashtag Stop Bad Meetings and talk about our first of 3 of the top meeting issues that we hear. Tom and I have facilitated and worked with thousands of people about meetings and how to have more effective meetings, how to have shorter meetings, how to get things done. And we often start by doing an activity where we call hopes and fears, where we ask people to share what's their biggest frustration with meetings and the thing they most want to learn to help improve meetings. And it's so interesting. It doesn't matter what group we are. It doesn't matter where we are. Everybody says many, many of the same things. And so I'm going to talk about the top 3 over the next few weeks. But today we're going to talk about one that drives people absolutely nuts, which is when meetings go over time, when meetings do not end when they are supposed to. Give me a thumbs up if you have ever sat in an endless meeting that would not end and you're done, it's gone overtime, and you just are thinking, what are we doing? I have to be somewhere else. I have something on the schedule. So give me a thumbs up or a comment if you've ever experienced that yourselves. The first thing I want to talk about is that this is simply beginning and meetings on time is simply about respect. So if you don't start your meetings on time, if you sit and wait for stragglers to come in or people to come in, it doesn't respect the people that showed up on time in the first place. It says that their time isn't as valuable, or you're going to wait for these other people who are late. So and also, if you are starting a meeting late, the first meeting you wait, we're going to wait 5 minutes. And then everybody's kind of like, well, we never begin on time, so there's no reason for me to rush and get there on time. So then it becomes a habit. It becomes habitual for the whole group. Next thing you know, you're starting 15 minutes after the time you're supposed to. And today we're talking about ending meetings on time, but if you don't start your meetings on time, then you don't end your meetings on time. Ending meetings on time is also about respect of your team, because people have packed, hectic schedules. They often have to travel from their normal place of work for a meeting. Maybe they don't, but they have a set time, say it's an hour or 2 hours, planned for a meeting. And when you go overtime, they are immediately stressed and less engaged because they probably have somewhere they need to be. It's backing them up for the rest of the day. So you're not respecting their time and their schedule. So the thing to keep in mind is this is plain and simple about respecting your team, respecting their time. So make sure that you begin meetings on time and end meetings on time. Now, there are cases where where something happens and there's a traffic jam, or there's a weather issue, or there's an issue somewhere, and people may be 5 minutes late. That may happen, but that should be rare because that doesn't happen all the time. And what I would say in that instance is for you to acknowledge what's happening. Hey, we just heard there's a big traffic jam, so we are going to give 5 minutes. We will start at 10:15 or whatever time you're going to start. This way, you're acknowledging there's a reason, and you're letting them know they're not just sitting around wondering what's happening. So you're keeping the group involved. So in terms of how to deal with meeting time, I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I feel like I say it every single time we talk about meetings. So you can look back at there's specific agenda videos about this, but you should not have too many agenda items. 3 to 5 agenda items is the absolute max you should have. I'm going to start coughing. Sorry, guys. See if I can stop. Oh my God. I don't know if the tea's making it better or worse. Woo! Okay. So, I'm not going to talk more about the agendas today, but I'm going to ask that you look back at that because that's critical. And the reason I talk about it so much is because getting choked up about it, because it is the thing that can transform your meetings. If you have just a short agenda, it will change everything. So look back at that. The second thing, and maybe this is because I facilitate and that's my job, but to have a facilitator who's running the meeting, who is not personally involved in the items getting done. So doesn't have a very strict opinion about what happens, because if you have a strict opinion about what happens, oh my God, my voice. I have never lost my voice before. You can tune in and watch me gulp tea. Okay. So if you need a facilitator who the goal of their job, their primary function is to keep the meeting running. If the facilitator is too attached to the agenda items, then they will often spend more time than they're supposed to. So having a facilitator whose goal it is to run the meetings is important. Now, often the person who's facilitating the meeting also cares about the outcome. So you have to detach from that if you're that person, and make sure that the meeting is going on schedule and staying on time. And if you have something to say about the agenda item, you almost have to step out of the role of facilitator and say, hey, I'm going to step out of the role of facilitator right now and interact about this. But your main goal is to keep that meeting moving. And if you don't think you can do that, then you need to get somebody else to facilitate, or do the next thing, which is get a timer and actually time the agenda items. That way, if you set it for a few minutes, if the agenda item is supposed to take 30 minutes and you set the timer for 25 minutes, then you know, okay, we've got 5 more minutes. Where are we with this agenda item? And I think the other thing is, if you can't keep an eye on the timer, then you need to have somebody who can, somebody that is in the meeting but is not facilitating, that can let you know, give you a sign, we've got 5 more minutes to keep it going. So time those things. And then the last one is the biggest mistake that people make, which is you have 10 minutes left in the meeting and you have 2 more agenda items and you think, oh gosh, we have 10 minutes left. We can squeeze in this agenda item. Do not do it, because you're probably not going to get it done. You're probably not going to do it well. People are already looking at the clock and thinking, oh no, we're going to go overtime. So instead of doing that, have a good solid ending and maybe let people go early, because people love going home early, or getting out of meetings early. Hope sees a squirrel, so that's the background noise. Um, so don't squeeze that thing in. Instead, have a really solid ending where you get feedback. Now everybody's starting. Where you get feedback from the group and find out how the meeting went, get feedback about a specific agenda item, just something quick so that you can close the meeting really well, and then people feel good. They feel like they're not rushed. They can really pay attention to the agenda items. So if you follow these things, it will help you end your meetings on time and respect your team. So I hope these help you. I would love to hear how it goes. Any questions, of course, always put those in the comments. Next week, we're going to talk about one of the top things we hear all the time, and it's how do you handle team members who dominate the meetings, who dominate the conversation? How do you handle those people? So that'll be our topic next week. Like and share. Please follow us. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll get notifications when we go live. And again, it really helps us to get the videos out. So hopefully the videos will make it to the people who plan and facilitate your meetings. So have a fantastic Sunday. And please, 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 if you're lucky enough to have it off, do not work. Enjoy yourself. Have a great day, guys.